Hello and welcome to Brooks TV. I'm Ed Templer.
And I'm Sarah Longson.
Throughout this month, there have been several strikes that have affected the running of the university. We sent Joe Phippen down to the picket lines to learn more about the situation.
Higher education staff from universities across the country stopped working today as union-backed strike action took place nationwide. I spoke to some of those striking at Gypsy Lane to find out why.
It's overpay, effectively, and the persistently poor offers that we've had. This year they've offered us a 1% pay rise, which with inflation is effectively a pay cut.
Staff are saying enough is enough. They cannot afford to live on these wages.
Students from nearby Ruskin College were also on hand to show solidarity.
I believe this is going to affect our students' performance in their education, and I believe it affects the whole ethos of higher education.
Whilst a majority of voters were in favour of taking action, there were questions over its validity.
We only had a small tick. I think it was 37% of union members actually took part in the vote.
Well, not everyone is, of course, a trade union member, and that's something I'm keen to rectify.
However, those that had showed up seemed in good spirits and had the support of their students.
Most students from Ruskin College are supporting the strike, even though they may not all be here on the picket lines. They certainly will be supporting us in solidarity and attitude.
Staff from Oxford also took part in the strike, congregating at a meeting in the town hall with their Brooks counterparts. Despite the collective intelligence in the room, the most poignant message of the day was delivered by its youngest participant.
And stress about finding the cheapest way to travel to work. These are not luxuries. These are necessities of working life, and people are struggling to pay for
There are lots of differing opinions from unions and different universities, with no end in sight. Joe Phippen reporting for Oxford Brooks News at the Oxford Town Hall.
Have you been affected by these strikes, Ed?
I have actually. I had a presentation that got moved and it's completely thrown all of my plans out of whack.
Now, a key part of student life in Oxford is using buses. Many students rely on the buses to get to lectures, but is the current system working? Manchester went to investigate the situation.
The Brooks bus is the only service that connects Oxford to both the Wheatley and Harcourt Hill campuses. That's why it's important that the service is frequent and reliable. So with the total number of passengers per year increasing from 270,000 to 290,000, it's no wonder that the service has been facing some major issues. Due to the increased number of complaints from Brooks students regarding the problems that they are facing with the Brooks buses, the Oxford Bus Company, who's in charge of the Brooks buses, are constantly looking to improve their service. Having said that, they have released a set of duplicate buses that run between Gypsy Lane and Wheatley, along with the introduction of the U1X that runs between Crescent Hall all the way to Harcourt Hill.
If you go to Wheatley, the bus is always late and sometimes you don't quite get on, especially in the mornings, where you do actually need two buses, as opposed to lunchtime and maybe slightly after where it's not quite as busy.
I think that the timings are convenient, although they should add more buses, because by the time they reach to Headington going to Wheatley, the buses are all full.
I will suggest to the Brooks Company and stuff to actually settle more U5 or more hours from the U5 to Wheatley, at least 3 or 4 times a day as a minimum, because really there are a lot of people from postgraduate, undergraduate that live in the residence in Marston, and they kind of just go at 8 in the morning when they have classes at 2.
We are in discussions with the bus company at the moment about the various options available to us, and we're all aware that the U5 and the U5X are a big issue, so that's our main concern at the moment, and seeing the ways around it.
We are planning to have a bus user group meeting sometime towards the end of this year in order to share information, statistics about the bus service with users, but also to allow users to share their feedback and their concerns and ideas of how we can improve the service.
As we can see, the Oxford Bus Company is putting a lot of effort in improving their service. Therefore, the students should look forward to an improvement in the near future. Majid Al-Masqati, Brooks TV.
I reckon you might be using the U1 soon, Sarah.
Why is that?
Well, as you may know, the U1 service runs past the Westway Shopping Centre. Soon there may be even more reasons to go there. Danny Spiteri reports.
The Vale of Whitehorse District Council has been trying to attract new developers for the Westway Shopping Centre since March 2011. Now, the land has been sold to a developer called Doric Properties. The Elms Parade shop fronts are seen as the face of Botley's local economy. They have not yet been purchased by Doric, but they are attempting to do so.
It needs to be brought up to date. We're looking at the comprehensive regeneration of that area to bring forward a whole range of benefits. So it's going to start with a supermarket, which will help bring some of the 70% of people who actually do their main shop outside Botley back into town. As soon as you do that, that means that the independent shops, who are currently struggling because there's a lack of car parking and lack of footfall, will become more viable.
One of the controversial aspects of the plan are the proposed student flats. There will be 600 in a large building that will be 7 stories high.
As the plans for the sale of the land to Doric were announced, many of the community came together to express their opposition. The leader of this movement was Lib Dem MP Debbie Hallett, who is encouraging people to sign the 600-strong petition.
If you insert 600 students into the demographics of the neighborhood, then maybe a cinema becomes more of an important thing. But with the student housing, it's not clear at this point whether they would be in like student flats or student rooms, or how much there would be a ward in there, or how integrated they'd be with their university, and all of that is yet to be decided.
Westway Community Concern are organising a petition to send to the District Council.
Doric only emphasises the potential benefits of a huge newly built facility, but we as residents know differently, and so should our elected councillors, so we must acknowledge the certain and substantial costs involved.
Other residents feel that the planned large supermarket will drive out local businesses.
I don't think we need a supermarket of that size. They're talking of 50,000 square foot. I think everybody agrees that the precinct is in need of refurbishment, but certainly not redevelopment.
We have a lot of small independent local traders, not chains, and they would be kicked out for 18 months, 2 years, and then they will have lost their business, and where do they go?
The future of the Westway Shopping Centre is uncertain. This is Danny Spiteri reporting for Brooks TV News.
I could see myself going to a film after lectures at Harcourt Hill. That'd be fun.
Yeah, me too. The issue of a large student population is at the heart of our next story. Apparently, Oxford is host to a large amount of rowdy students. BTV went into the streets of Oxford to find out more.
Loud music, drunken behaviour, garbage trailing on the ground, or even criminal activity. For anyone who lives in student housing, these problems may all sound familiar. Oxford Brookes University has recently come under fire over reports of rowdy students. 45 complaints have already brought up within the 5 first weeks of the term.
It's part and parcel of being in Oxford, I'm afraid, but yeah, it's antisocial behaviour is not welcome by anyone.
We have neighbours who are students, and sometimes they play their music very loud and run up and down the house, banging doors at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I didn't really hear anything, and I live right in the centre of town, but maybe I'm the one making it, who knows.
In the beginning of November, Ivan Asquith, leader of the Divinity Road Area Residents Association, stated that
it is clear Brookes needs to change its disciplinary framework for handling student misconduct. At present, there do not appear to be any effective sanctions to deter bad behaviour.
Meanwhile, Brookes was taking actions, including setting disciplinary measures. Joel Holmes, president of the Oxford Brookes Students' Union, considers it as inappropriate.
I am taking it seriously. I'm just eager to make sure that there isn't an overreaction, as it were. I would not be happy if people were being punished academically for something that they've done that wasn't academic. So,
aside from punishing students, Brookes also intends to organize educational campaigns to address the road problem. However, looking at past incidents, sanctions seems to be the most effective answer to this kind of behavior. Adèle Dachi, Brooks TV.
And now on to our final story.
Each November, men grow out their facial hair for a very special cause.
Our mustachioed reporter Sam went to meet those in the particular event.
Every November, many men refuse to shave their moustaches in order to raise money and awareness for prostate cancer. But is this really the best way to get people talking about it? Or would a more serious approach be a better solution?
My dad actually got diagnosed with prostate cancer about 6 months ago and quickly recovered it. They caught it really early because he goes for the annual checkups. So I mean, right there, that hit at home, you know. So I think doing stuff like this is fantastic. I really like it.
I think it's great. It's a really good way of raising awareness about prostate cancer and everything, and it's things that blokes don't like talking about. And with Movember, everyone can just actually chat about it a little bit. So, yeah, I think it's a good thing.
Anything that raises awareness for any cancer is a good idea.
Across the country, various organisations are offering incentives to the fuzzy fundraisers. From restaurants to high street stores, everyone is doing their best to get involved. Will Pargeter from Oxford's all-male a cappella group Out of the Blue spoke to us about the group's involvement with the campaign.
Yes, so this is the second year that the group has put forward a team. And we're hoping that it will become a tradition. Obviously, being an all-male group, men's health is quite a relevant thing.
In the UK, 1 in 8 men will develop prostate cancer in their lifetime. More than 100 men are diagnosed with prostate cancer every day.
And it's not just men who are getting involved with Movember. Some girls are refusing to shave to help raise awareness too.
So, whether it's with your lips or your legs, everyone can get involved in raising money for prostate cancer this November. I'm Samuel Swinnerton, Brooks TV News.
Well, that's it for this week's show. Remember, as always, you can catch our previous episodes on our YouTube page, as well as extra content and behind-the-scenes peeks.
Yep, and don't forget to get in contact with us at brookstv@brooks.ac.uk. Let us know if there's a story you think we should be covering. We're always looking for the latest scoop.
That's goodbye from us here at Brooks TV.
We'll see you next time.